All right, guys, welcome back. And
Had a wild week
Yeah,
of
for sure.
playoff baseball,
playoff
number one.
baseball, Eagles football, and now we gear up because tomorrow is going to be Red October.
Yes, it is. It's finally starts. It's finally here.
Finally here, Phillies and Dodgers, and honestly, this is the best matchup of the playoffs by far. I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
whoever goes,
This is the matchup we've been waiting years to have in
Phillies
the playoffs.
and Dodgers, like the defending champions with, with all the talent coming in with the Phillies. You know, you got your expensive players, but you also got your homegrown talent. You got the bye. The Dodgers didn't get the bye. I feel like whoever wins this matchup will go on to win the pennant.
Whoever wins this, I think, is definitely going to go on to at least represent the National League. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love about this matchup is the fact that it also gives us a chance to kind of, look into the past at the last time that these guys were facing each other in the playoffs, which was 2008 and 2009.
Yep.
And those series gave us some very memorable games, some memorable moments, big players stepped up, big moments happened. So looking forward to more of that.
Those moments like Matt Stairs and
Victorino tying it
and Jimmy Rollins
with the walk-off.
Yep.
And, the fact you had, what was it? Who was it that came up and had like the pinch hit in one of the games to Jeff Jenkins, I think. Remember, he was the starting outfielder
Jeff Jenkins
at one point, and then Jason Worth replaced him. And Jeff Jenkins was like this forgotten about player, and all of a sudden he just comes in to pinch hit for one of the pitchers. I can't even remember who was pitching in this game. And he gets like a 2-run double to tie the game, which I think is the game that later on Jimmy Rollins went on to actually walk it off.
The walk-off
Yeah.
double. Oh, that's nice.
So,
Yeah.
There were so many crazy moments from those series. Andre Ethier almost robbing that home run from, who was it? I want to say Pedro Feliz out in center field. And, him not able to come up with it. The Dodgers end up losing that game by 1 run. Like, plenty of moments that we remember
from these playoff games. And it's going to be nice to see the Dodgers here. It's going to be a good test against, obviously, one of the best teams in the league for a long time.
If you win this, you feel very confident moving forward that your team can beat anyone.
Yeah, definitely very confident because we know that the Dodgers bullpen is bad. And
it's not great.
And the starting pitchers for Game 1, by the way, 6:38 on TBS.
Yep.
If you guys didn't know.
Also, on HBO Max.
Yeah, apparently they have like a deal.
Very weird.
They have like a deal to plan together, I guess.
Strange,
so,
but
I guess if you're out of market and don't have TBS available, so Christopher Sanchez, obviously we knew that coming into the final game of the season, who pitched really well in the final game of the season.
Yep.
And then Shohei Ohtani.
And Ohtani last time he, faced the Phillies.
He faced the Phillies and did really good 5 hitless innings. And
yeah.
I think the Phillies are going to be taking a whole different approach now to Ohtani, especially since he's going to be able to go the distance. Dodgers analyst, I think it was Jerry Hairston Jr., he said that he's capable to throw over 100 pitches. And 100 pitches in the playoffs, man?
I mean,
if the Phillies can't get anything going.
Only thing is, if Ohtani throws 100 pitches or goes over that, you don't know how he's going to respond because he hasn't thrown that many in the next start if he needs to in like a game 5.
He threw like 90 pitches in, I think, Arizona, and he pitched really well, but that's also 2 different lineups coming together, obviously.
Yeah.
They need to get to the bullpen. That's one of the keys to the series. The bullpen has, I searched it up, I think it was like a 4.30 ERA the entire year.
And honestly, they didn't really look like they were that great against the Reds either. I mean, the Reds got to their bullpen a pretty decent amount.
Yeah. They couldn't get to the starters.
Right, they got 5 against the bullpen in Game 1, and then they got another 2 against the bullpen in Game 2.
They were able to score runs off the bullpen.
Right, so they got pitching. 7 runs in 2 games.
The Phillies have seen the Dodgers starting pitching very recently, so...
Well, only thing that troubles me is the fact that last time Ohtani kind of dominated you, and Blake Snell kind of dominated you when Blake Snell was in the game.
Mm-hmm. And then they were able to score 9 runs off of that bullpen when Ohtani got out of the game. So the one thing they need to do is just be patient.
Be patient and be disciplined.
Grind the at-bats,
Have to be disciplined.
Bryson Stott's very good at, working a 8 to 9 pitch at-bat. We need these hitters, to just 5 to 6 pitch ABs. We can't be getting retired on 2-3 pitches, obviously.
Like last night, I don't know if you were watching, Schlitter went out for the 7th or the 8th inning?
7th or the 8th inning.
And got through it in 7 pitches, which allowed him to, I think, go out for the 8th inning. Or it was either the 7th or the 8th that he had 7 pitches.
Probably the 7th inning, because I think he only pitched 8 innings.
Yeah, so he had 7 pitches in that inning, which allowed him to go out for the 8th. You can't be doing that.
You can't be doing that in the playoffs.
Yeah, you can't be just
if you see a fastball coming right down the middle of the plate, you could swing at that. But
right. But you can't give pitchers free innings here.
Exactly. This is especially in that atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. Every pitcher needs to be throwing, at least at minimum, you're trying for 13 pitches an inning. At the very minimum.
Yeah.
This way.
Definitely 13 pitches.
By 7th inning, they're already up to 90-something, almost 100 pitches.
It depends on the score. If it's 2-0 Phillies, and they might pull the trigger on Ohtani, hey, we might need you maybe for another start because you only need 3 starters for the series. So you come out, maybe pitch game, maybe pitch game 4 if they bring it to a game 4, or pitch game 5 if it comes to that point. But one thing they're gonna have to do is get to the bullpen.
One thing though that is nice is that they did just get to see these starters 3 weeks ago.
Exactly, which is nice because they can now switch their approach.
Right, they have a little familiarity maybe with the pitches and the pitch selection.
Rob's gonna have his full healthy lineup, so he's gonna be able to make adjustments to where he goes. He knows that he's gonna be lenient on his matchups.
And also another thing about that, remember, they were able to come back in 2 of the games that they won against the Dodgers, and it was away. It was in LA.
Against that bullpen. So they know they can hit off the bullpen, too.
Yeah, so if, they end up getting down by a couple of runs early in the game, that doesn't mean, Philly fans, you go on social media and say the World Series is over, we're not going to blah, blah, blah. Relax. This team is capable of coming back against this bullpen.
Off that Dodgers bullpen.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a big test.
So not only are not only in these games are the hitters gonna have to be patient, the fans might have to be patient as well. If you're going down to the game, might be until 5th, 6th, 7th inning before you actually finally start to see the offense scratch a couple of runs across or some hits together. So don't be turning on the team before you actually give them a chance. I don't want to hear no boos.
Fans will be out there in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to hear no boos in the 3rd inning because the team has only gotten 2 hits through 3 innings. Let's calm it down, guys. Right. Let's keep the energy, but let's not overreact here, people.
Another thing that I got to do is another key that I kind of listed was situational hitting.
Absolutely.
Because
runners in scoring position.
You think that they're going to be up there swinging for the fences. You just got to put the ball in play and something good will happen.
Well, one of the things that they were talking about the entire series through the Dodgers with the Reds was the fact that the Dodgers had the lowest opponent batting average through the month of September in, all of baseball, right? But they didn't have the lowest ERA. So what does that tell you? They're giving up home runs. So I don't know if that means this team is going to be more home run searching once the bullpen comes in.
Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know what it's going to be like, but if you have, runners on 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, I think you're just going for a base hit there.
Yeah, obviously, but at least something in the air to the outfield. Because even if you get an out, you're at least scoring 1 run there, They were saying it I was watching, I think, the Cubs and Padres series. The one analyst kept saying, when you have a chance to score a run without getting a base hit, you need to take advantage of those situations.
Yeah, this is the postseason. Like,
yeah,
you know, you got to take advantage of every opportunity that you get.
exactly.
And also in the Cubs-Padres series, I think it was like the 9th inning of Game 3, and Xander Bogaerts was batting, and this blatant ball that was called a strike.
My goodness, that was awful.
That was terrible.
That was absolute. That ball wasn't.
No,
okay, it maybe was a little bit close, but it wasn't in the strike zone.
Some damn good framing then.
Yeah, it was. It was a good job by Carson Kelly.
Call.
Very quick,
if they had
pulling it
if
up.
This was 2026. He could have just tapped on his helmet. That would have been a ball. And
I know, and that could have completely changed the game.
Exactly.
That would have been what? Walk, 1 out, and runners on first and second.
You could have hit a base hit right there. It ties the game.
Exactly.
So definitely, you gotta.
Game-altering decision right there by the umpire.
2026 is going to be very different come postseason for that ABS stuff.
Oh, yeah. And one thing that I actually didn't know up until, the playoffs actually started was I didn't realize you get an extra challenge in the postseason. So we've seen a lot of challenges, I feel like, through these first wild card series games. So there's probably going to be,
Yeah, because every team's going to want to be, extra careful.
Yeah.
Every base counts. Every out counts, so.
And we're really going to probably see the advantages of replay throughout the playoffs, which is going to convince Major League Baseball even more to just move replay to the ABS and put more things under the availability.
They're going to want to implement that
be judgmented to replay.
A lot, so.
Yeah, so not only is that going to be different next year, I'm also thinking that they might have even more changes next year to come other than the ABS that might just not really be being talked about or thought of right now just because, the season's still ongoing. But I feel like there's going to be, the ABS is the start to, I feel like maybe a whole new era of, replay technology in baseball where they're going to start using it for everything.
It gets rid of, umpires making bad calls, and you got managers and players running out of the dugout and screaming and stuff, because that's going to decrease a lot, you feel like.
Although we will miss that. We will miss
it definitely
seeing
is managers running out of the
Oh yeah, we're going to miss seeing the people getting ejected and all that stuff, but it'll be good because, they'll actually get the call right. The games, I mean, you could say potentially with that Padres game that game was potentially decided by the fact that ump called a wrong strike.
Yeah, strike. Who knows? That could have changed the whole series.
Yeah, and you hate to see it actually play out that way, and it stinks that you never really want to sit there and blame the umpire, but that's one of those rare instances where you kind of have to put all the blame on the umpire.
Padres winning that series, so
you got to make the right call in that situation, dude. You cannot F up with 9th inning, runner on first, full count, and who was it that was up next? Tatis or something like that, or Machado?
Yeah, one of those top hitters.
Yeah, it was either, and then after him was I think Cronenworth. So you had two other, hitters that definitely could have produced with runners in scoring position if he makes the right call and calls that ball four right there. But he ends up not calling it, and just like that, the series was over.
Padres
basically.
Are out, yeah. So really interesting to see, but the show must go on.
And the show will go on.
Yeah, the show will go on for us now.
And
hopefully the Phillies don't get bounced.
I don't think the Phillies are going to get bounced.
No.
But taking a little trip down, memory lane right here.
We've shown that we can, beat the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And I'm very confident. I'm just worried about that starting pitching, but
but
if we can get to that bullpen and we can start, doing what you said, being patient, situational hitting. I heard on the radio that Scott Fransky was on the radio as I was driving here, and they said, I think Alec Bohm will bat in the cleanup spot because
situational hitting.
He hit very well coming off the injured list, and he's not that type of guy looking to hit a home run, but looking to dump something in the outfield or line something down the line. So
yeah, and he's one of the guys that has one of the best bat to ball skills on this team. Probably he puts the ball in play a lot. I feel like he's one of the guys that has probably one of the lowest strikeout numbers on this team. And even though you do want to have someone that produces power numbers in that 4-hole spot, you also want someone that has the run production, and you're not going to get the run production if that guy in the 4-hole spot is constantly striking out. So that's the one thing that I do really like about
Alec
having
Boehm's
Boehm
not
there.
really a strikeout hitter too.
Right. So there's not going to be many times where, let's say, Trey Turner gets on, Schwarber or Harper get on, and it's like first and third with one out. A lot of times Alec Boehm is going to come through and at least put the ball in play in that situation. He's not just going to strike out. And if you put the ball in play in that situation, as long as it's not a double play, you're basically guaranteeing yourself at least one run. And that's something that really shouldn't be undervalued, I feel like, with Alec Boehm hitting in the 4 spot. But it's something that definitely gets overlooked because everyone just looks for the power. And he's just not the guy that the Phillies turn to for power in this lineup. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, pretty much. You got your 2 power guys at 2 and 3, and then you got Trey for speed, and then that's probably going to be the top 4 for the playoffs, and then 5 to 9, I feel like they're just going to
do matchup-wise, situationally.
Yeah, they might go like Marsh, and they'll probably mix around the righties and lefties to make it more even. So
now, one thing I did notice, Rojas was added to the postseason roster.
Yeah, I heard that Rojas. I heard they were going to add Rojas, and then I heard that he had a quad injury, and they said no to Rojas. But they were only going to use Rojas just for speed and defense, so he'd only be coming in to play center field or a late inning situation. And
so if he's not going to be available,
pinch runner,
does that mean that potentially they add someone like Justin Crawford for that role?
I think Dave Dombrowski already said that they're not going to call him up for that postseason role.
I wonder, because they're going to, if they were calling up, Rojas for speed and defense, I imagine they still want to be able to call someone else up for that.
I don't know who they're going to use for speed. If you bring in a pinch runner, I mean, maybe if it's matchup-wise and, you got a Edmundo Sosa or Brandon Marsh still on the bench at a certain point in the game where you can... Nick Castellanos is on second base, and you put Brandon Marsh out there, who's obviously 10 times faster than Cassie. That's what I think they'll do.
Yeah, because they're still going to, at some, this team isn't really exactly the fastest team in the world. They do have some fast players, but overall, I feel like, this team doesn't have blazing speed. Schwarber's not very fast.
We're not talking. Schwarber and Casty aren't fast.
Harper's decent. I mean, he's not like blowing anyone away, but I feel like he's not like a slowpoke. But I mean, he's not really someone that you feel comfortable pushing the envelope because you see him.
Bader's got some speed to him.
Yeah,
obviously Trey.
Marsh has some speed to him, but I mean, JT still has some speed to him as well.
Yeah, I see
JT's still got
one of the more
motor.
He's one of the more faster catchers in the game.
Yeah,
which is nice.
So, all right, maybe I am overlooking
having
their speed
someone
a little bit.
not like Salvador Perez chugging down the line.
And speaking of JT, that's one of the things that I think, or one of the players that I think is really going to be an X factor. Like, how they always say like certain players are X factors in a series. I think JT is definitely going to be an X factor in this series.
Yeah, hopefully JT. He's been hitting well since the end of July.
If he's able to continue to hit off left-handed pitching, because he's always been able to hit right-handed pitching, but strangely enough, last season against left-handers, he was awful.
He struggled versus
it was
different opposition.
It was like a 220 batting average against left-handed pitching last year.
Yeah, JT could definitely pick it up.
Yeah,
someone we're going to need because he's going to play every single game in the postseason.
Yeah,
regardless, unless
and you're
he gets injured.
Blake Snell, very good left-handed pitcher, and you're going to see probably, if the Phillies do end up going through, Brewers have Mizorowski, who's the lefty, right?
No, he's the righty.
He's righty.
He's the righty that throws like 100.
Who's the...
Quintana?
Is that who I'm thinking of
Probably.
on the Brewers? I was going to say, I know they have someone that's a good lefty on the Brewers, but you're going to see, good left-handed pitching, and you got to have people who step up against this left-handed pitching, like Kyle Schwarber's been doing it all year. He's got to continue doing it.
Yeah, Bryce. Yeah, like what you said with Kyle, most home runs off a left-handed hitter.
Harper's got to do it where Harper hasn't really had the power numbers off the lefties.
Bryce can look really silly versus a lefty, so he's going to need to change his approach. They also did say on the radio that coming into that 22 postseason and this season, I feel like Bryce wasn't hitting the best, and now hopefully he's saving it for the postseason and earning his title of, the showman.
I mean, he's had plenty of great at-bats and moments in the postseason, and I wouldn't really expect anything less, but
I just don't want him chasing like a first pitch Ohtani splitter in the dirt.
Yeah. That's one of the things that we've talked about before is the fact that, Harper can get a little swing happy in those moments because he really wants to be that hero. He really wants to be the one that drives in that winning run or that tying run. And sometimes it comes back to bite him. But as long as, we said it before, this lineup is able to stay disciplined and not chase that Achilles heel of the slider breaking out of the zone, not chase the splitter, not chase the high fastballs, then this team is probably going to be able to come through and pull it out. Because when you have to pitch to this lineup and actually throw strikes and continuously challenge this lineup to get them out, they're going to get runs.
I know the Dodgers are as scared as us when facing Kyle Schwarber when we are scared of Ohtani.
I mean, if you are an opposing pitcher and you aren't at least a little bit worried when facing the Phillies lineup,
there's something wrong with you.
You must not be taking the actual situation seriously, because let's just look at this Phillies lineup objectively and separate our fandom for a moment and all the emotion attached to it, because sometimes it clouds our judgment and how good these guys actually are. Schwarber with 56 home runs, over 120 runs batted in. No one even within, I think, 15 RBIs close to him.
Turner with the batting title.
Turner hitting what, 303?
304.
304. Getting the batting title and being only, I think, one hit behind Luis Arias, even missing, how many games did Trey miss this year?
About 20.
Really, that was it? I felt like he missed a little bit more, 30 games. But regardless, him missing time and still being only one hit shy of the guy that had the most hits and having a much higher batting average, plus all of the speed he brings, the stolen bases. I am a little bit worried about the hamstring, but as far as I've heard, I think he's going to be...
He's definitely going to be running at full speed.
Yeah, he should be 100% all set to go. And one thing that I really, really, really want to see out of Trey Turner is continue to have that outstanding defense. Because if you've watched the Cubs series at all, you saw how much the defense up the middle impacted that series. Dansby Swanson had, 7 fantastic plays, I want to say, throughout that whole series to, run-saving plays. And then you see Jazz Chisholm the night before coming through huge with the diving stop to prevent a run from scoring, and then they end up coming back in that game. You had last night Ryan McMahon flipping over into the dugout to catch that foul ball, which I don't know how he freaking held on to that thing.
The defense has been impressive in the postseason. So.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of, maybe not a lot, but there's going to be moments, big moments, where your defense is going to have to come through.
And Trey has done that before. In Atlanta, when he made that diving stop in Game 1, turned the double play, that was good.
So as long as Trey is able to keep everything defensively locked down, it's going to be really hard, I feel like, for this team, the Dodgers, to basically string together a lot of hits, especially because if you've got gold glove defense from not only your second baseman but your shortstop, plus Harrison Bader out in center field, That's a very, very
Yeah,
good
you got
defense right
the
there.
defense is getting better now. So,
And if that's the case, it's going to be very hard to string multiple hits. You're not going to be able to get those bloop little singles because all three of those guys got the speed to catch up to that stuff. They read the ball off the bat good enough to be able to make those plays. How many times have we seen Bryson Stott make the over-the-shoulder basket catch or the jumping catch because there's a little looper going over his head? Or Harrison Bader, the amount of swagger that he has just catching like a fly ball. Like, he gets to basically everything that's out there. And Trey Turner always seems to make big plays in big moments. So if you're able to continue that stellar defense up the middle, you're going to probably get a lot of double plays, get yourself out of a lot of jams, and it's probably going to be one of the keys to the Phillies actually winning this series is going to be how good is that defense up the middle in key situations.
and if it's good, saving runs,
Mm-hmm.
just what we need.
Phillies will probably move on.
Yeah. 4 more things to talk about. Game 2 starter. The starters for the rest of the damn series.
Yeah. Because you only need 3, as you said.
The intra-squad game and the prediction for this series. So, get it started with the Game 2 starter. Who do you think it's going to be?
So, personally, I think it's going to end up being Luzardo that starts Game 2. And I know people are going to be like, well, you should do Ranger Game 2 to split up the hard-throwing left-handers because Sanchez and Luzardo kind of have a similar profile where Ranger's completely different.
Well, apparently, Luzardo told Rob that he said if he wasn't starting till like Game 2 or Game 3 or whatever, he was like, I'm available to come pitch out of the bullpen if you need me.
In maybe Game 1, if he's going to be the
Game 1
3
or
starter,
2,
I assume.
because you remember you still got that off day.
Right. So, I mean, if it gets to Game 2, though, I wouldn't expect him to come out of the bullpen.
Pitch maybe an inning because you got that Game 2 Monday, you got the off day, and then you got the game on Wednesday.
I guess,
so there's a
potentially,
chance.
But I do think it's going to end up being Ranger pitching in Game 3 just because Ranger has been fantastic on the road this season. He's got a 2.84 ERA away from home, and his opponent batting average is 30 points lower.
I'll take that from Ranger on the road any day of the week.
On the road.
But I don't know if they might go with like Nola too. Just what if Rob Thompson doesn't want to see the Dodgers 3 lefties in a row? Like, could get a little concerning. Maybe they want to switch it up a little bit for the hitters. If
potentially
you could use Nola as an opener, maybe Buehler,
but
Walker.
I think if they go up 2-0, that I could see that happening. Maybe if it's 1-1, if they split 1-1 here at Citizens Bank Park to start, I could maybe see them going with a right-hander just to break up the fact that you're not seeing the ball out of the same slot 3 different nights in a row, or 3 different games in a row, since it's not technically 3 nights in a row. But if they win the first 2 games, I think they still stick with the plan to have Nola as the Game 4 if need be, which I definitely think they're going to end up getting to a Game 4.
Okay, so you have Nola as the Game 4. I have him possibly as maybe the Game 2 or something out of the bullpen, but we'll have to see when that actually comes to fruition. So,
and wasn't there one other thing you said you wanted to get?
Yeah, the inter-squad game.
Oh yeah, the inter-squad game.
The inter-squad game, man, that was pretty cool to see. Getting 30,000 people coming to the stadium. Watching them both play it out, having fun. Getting ready for the playoffs.
One thing I want to mention that's hilarious about that: Phillies sold 31,000 seats, right, for inter-squad scrimmage. Cleveland sold 29,000 for an elimination playoff game.
That is kind of crazy, but I also got another thing to say. Elimination playoff game was 3 o'clock on a weekday, a work day, and a school day. So
yeah,
you kind of got.
I guess I see the point.
You see the point, yeah. I was like, man, this is why I don't like that, wild card series where everyone's playing at different times. I was like, man, just put the game on at the same time. You'll get the stadium more packed.
Mm-hmm.
You really can't take off for a 1 o'clock game on a weekday and with like little to no advance, really.
Yeah, I do see your point there, but still, it was just astounding to see the fact that
it is kind of crazy though. But I'll give you that.
31,000 people showed up for an inter-squad game, and yet only 29,000 show up for a playoff
the
elimination.
City is ready for Red October,
Like,
man. You know, Bryce Harper homering, Luzardo looking good.
Mm-hmm. Like I think the Mariners had the same thing where they did inter-squad scrimmages, but I don't think they sold anywhere close to 31,000 tickets.
I don't think they had any fans.
No, I think they did, because I had an email actually that came through offering tickets to the inter-squad scrimmage.
Yeah, they used Ichiro in that game too,
and
which was cool.
But I don't think that they sold nearly as many.
Yeah, no,
tickets
the Phillies are definitely ready. They're ready for this damn playoffs.
And they did 2 games.
Oh wow.
I don't know if they did 2 games in the same day.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know if they maybe did like 2 7-inning games or what.
But I saw like ticket, options for 2 different games, and I was like, holy crap, they're doing 2 scrimmage games? I was like, maybe that's a little too much, but I mean, hey, teams are trying to
people
stay...
showing up for a freaking scrimmage game, having Duran's entrance coming out there to the people.
If that doesn't fire the players up for Red Hawks...
Yeah, definitely got to fire the players up. Then they all, when the game was over, they all tipped their caps to the fans.
Yeah, like, dude, you got 31,000 people coming out to watch you practice, basically.
Yeah, that's insane. So,
like, if that doesn't get you ready for frickin' tomorrow night...
That's got to get them all hype and stuff, man.
I don't know what does, dude. Like, could you imagine getting frickin' cheered on by, like, a full stadium and frickin' practice, bro?
31,000. They're going to have 50,000 tomorrow night.
Yeah. So it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere, and can't wait to
I don't think the Dodgers
get this series underway,
The Dodgers have never been in this, atmosphere. No one's really been on the Dodgers that's had to come to Philadelphia and deal with it.
The only one is Kershaw.
Yeah, Kershaw, because he's been around for so damn long.
When did Roberts get brought in to be the head coach?
I think that was after, like 2016 or something like that. So this is his first time coming to Philadelphia. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a hell of a ride for the Dodgers.
Yeah, and hopefully Magic Johnson, you can stay seated down. I don't want to see you standing up clapping at all.
Magic Johnson's stupid ass on the TV. So. So now for
dude, they showed him like almost every time the Dodgers got up by like 3 runs. I feel like
we get it, dude. We know you're the owner. Relax.
Yeah, it's not new news. You've been the owner for like 13 years, bro. Just sit down and watch the game.
do my prediction now. I got the Phillies winning this series in 4 games.
I also have the Phillies winning this, but I think it might go 5. I think they might end up winning it.
Yeah, I could see maybe 5 games. It's definitely going to go to 4 games, I feel like. And if they take the first 2 at home, I feel like they just need 1 game in Los Angeles. If they lose game 3, they'll definitely bounce back. Especially with the 3 starters, you can use Sanchez in game 4 and lock that down, and the Phillies will win in 4 games.
All right. And with that, let's move on to the football side of things.
Yeah, let's do it. Because that was
another wild win.
Wild game, and
not wild for the same great reasons that
Tampa Bay,
it was the previous week with the Rams. Wild for not good reasons.
Did want to say this before we move to the football. Got to do the double whammy. The Eagles beat the Rams in the playoffs, won the Super Bowl, and if the Phillies win the Dodgers, who says they ain't winning a World Series? That's just a double whammy. That's just a little conspiracy I have, but
I mean, hey, if it
works,
the Phillies another World Series championship,
exactly.
I'm conspiracy theorist happy over here. Fine with that.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. So
it's all a conspiracy. It's all to get Philadelphia championships before the 250th anniversary.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're getting close. So, but yeah, Birds are 4-0 somehow, in some way. The Eagles are 4-0.
I've heard some wild stuff too. Like, they're 4-0 even though they've been outgained in yards every game.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which doesn't make any sense.
This team doesn't feel like a 4-0 team.
They didn't complete a single pass in the second half last week.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, think about that. When watching the second half, I didn't even realize that up until I was listening to the post game, and they were like, there wasn't a single completed pass.
And I was
in the entire
sitting
second
in
half.
I was in the ballpark for the game, and we ended up going into like some restaurant to go watch the game. Everyone was in there screaming Eagles, so it was a good time. But I did not know that they did not complete an entire pass in the second half. But
Yep, not a single one.
the offense looked freaking fantastic in the first half.
Yeah, and then
The offense
they collapsed in the second
they
half.
collapsed. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know if like
It was a reversal from last week. Where it was
literally a reversal.
where they were absolutely awful in the first half, and then they came alive in the second half.
I don't know how that was even like possible.
So, if possible, could we get just like a nice, clean, like full game of nice football from the offense?
Clean, 60 minutes of football, and that's all we're gonna ask for.
Can we not have a half where we only have like 36 yards of total offense, please?
Yeah, we gotta be explosive on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. So it's gonna be.
I mean, you can't keep relying on special teams to be blocking stuff to get you touchdowns.
Teams blocking another damn punt for a touchdown, Sidney Brown.
Yeah, like you can't keep relying on these type of scores to be the score that prevails and wins you the game, because the special teams is not going to come through like that every single week.
What's next? First kickoff return is going to be for a touchdown. Special teams.
Yeah, like watch this week. Tank Bigsby will prove everyone wrong. He's going to field it on a hop, and he's going to run it on.
Run straight through the Broncos' special teams for a touchdown.
He's going to prove to everyone that he can catch the ball and he can run it back too.
That's gonna be funny as shit. Oh my god.
But like seriously, you can't be relying on this stuff to be getting you points, especially in these close game situations. You need to be able to
use that
the offense scoring, not your special teams getting you touchdowns. It's nice when that happens, but it's not reliable. You can't just be expecting that to happen at least once a game, like every week. It's just not going to happen.
This is also it's another good secondary.
Yeah,
Broncos secondary is good.
Pass rush is good.
Pass Surtain Defensive Player of the Year. So it's going to be another challenge for the Eagles. Brown's going to be on Surtain. So
yeah, run defense is pretty good too.
Run defense, yeah, and AJ Brown making his little tweet on Twitter trying to start some drama.
Yeah.
Then after that, saying like. He let his frustration get to him, which I like. At least he opened up and said, like, "All right, guys, it was my bad. Like, didn't mean to like upset any fans." So I'm hoping, like, if he's on our side, we're back home in Philadelphia. He needs to get on our side. He needs to get. If the fans are with him, then he's with us, and I think.
He's a wide receiver, man.
I hope
he
has a good game. Yeah, they always do that.
As long as he's not dropping a TO, doing freaking sit-ups in the driveway.
They were saying like the day after on the radio, they were thinking AJ Brown's going to be TO. I was like, relax, it's one day. Jesus.
As long as he's not calling the media to his freaking
4-0
front door to hold a press conference.
4-0 Super Bowl champion. We're talking about TO. Like, get out of here, freaking media.
So I think it's fine.
I think he'll have a good game. I think Devontae will also get a touchdown and a good game as well. I think the offense needs to, they're back at home.
Mm-hmm.
They freaking shit the bed in the first half when they were last at home in week 3. Yeah. So coming back here to Philadelphia, the crowds, the city's already going to be, mixed emotions depending on the Phillies, if they win or lose the first game of their playoffs. So.
Well, either way, that series isn't going to be over by the time the Eagles game comes.
If the Phillies are down 0-1, they can easily rally 3 straight wins.
Yeah, and I wonder, do you think we see any other Philadelphia sports stars at the playoff game? Like, they were showing, I think, during the Cubs game, they had, like, 4 or 5 players from like the Chicago Blackhawks that was there.
Yeah, we'll definitely see some people. Maybe Saturday we'll get some Eagles players just because the game's on Sunday and they're all home. The Sixers are in maybe get some Flyers players because the Sixers are in Abu Dhabi for the preseason.
Yeah, so Sixers guys won't be there.
And then you got some actors and singers and stuff, people that are well known around the city. Like
Bradley Cooper's going to be there.
Bradley Cooper, yep.
Miles Teller is going to be there. He's always there.
Rob McElhenney.
Do you think Mike Trout will be there?
No. Like he'll be at the Eagles game.
Because he's in town right now because the Eagles are going to be coming up the next day.
He'll be at the Eagles game, but
so he'll be in town. Will he show up to the Phillies game?
I doubt it. He'll definitely be at the Eagles game though. That's for sure.
Could you imagine if he went to the Phillies game?
Oh my God,
that would create widespread panic.
Everyone would sprout to the Phillies, dude.
Everyone would be. It would be speculation city, dude. If he showed up, especially if he was wearing like a Phillies uniform, like a jersey or some shit. Like dude, that would be freaking great.
Hilarious.
I would love it, but it's probably not gonna happen.
No, not gonna happen.
But who do you think? Who strikes you on the Eagles as like a big baseball guy? I think Fangio will be there.
Yeah, Fangio.
Fangio seems to love the Phillies.
Yeah, he definitely talks about baseball a lot.
Yeah, so I think you'll see Fangio
Maybe
there.
some of the guys on IR.
You think you'll see
Nolan Smith and Nakobe Dean, who they just activated his window, by the way, to practice.
What about Sirianni? You think you'll see maybe Sirianni out there?
Yeah,
in the stands
Sirianni.
somewhere?
Sirianni's a big baseball guy,
I feel like he's
too.
made a couple appearances at the Phillies games before, hasn't he? Sirianni?
And then the camera will pan to Patullo and everyone will boo. That'll be funny.
You'll hear the entire stadium erupt in boos as they show him on the big screen. He's going to look like the Coldplay guy hiding from the camera like, oh my God.
Maybe Brandon Graham.
Brandon Graham, I could definitely see being there.
Don't rule out Brandon Graham to show up at the game, so...
I'm excited for it, man. It's going to be fun.
Me too.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's great atmosphere this weekend, so...
And then one of the other things, let's get back into the football real quick. We got sidetracked because, Red October. How could you not get sidetracked by it? But with A.J. Brown, I really don't think his comments are too concerning. I mean, how many times do you get frustrated with your coworkers at your job? Doesn't mean that, like, you're going to sit there and, like...
It's going to happen to you at some point.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that,
AJ's just getting...
You just start causing problems. Like, you just go about your business.
He's just getting covered good.
And not only that, like, teams are scheming for the fact that A.J. Brown is probably going to get open if you leave him one-on-one, so they're not giving him opportunities where he's one-on-one.
I got to realize, like, if A.J.'s not open, Hurts isn't going to throw to A.J. He's got Defensive Player of the Year covering him.
Like, because he's facing what I've seen a lot in these games is he's usually has a defender underneath and then a defender over the top. Usually one of the safeties is sitting right over top of the route he's running, and the cornerback is usually right underneath the route he's running. So unless Jalen throws a dime where it's right in between two defenders, he's going to get picked off, so he's not going to throw that. Like, that's just how it is. If they're going to continue to double A.J. Brown's probably not going to be open all the time. And you've seen it from Jalen. He's not going to force the ball in bad situations. He's not going to throw into double coverage.
Yeah, he's not throwing into double coverage. He's not throwing, deep ball to the end zone.
Right. He'll instead throw the little 5-yard pass to Dallas Goedert. Or the little scat from Saquon Barkley out the side.
I'll take his 5-yard pass from Goddard.
As long as it gets you first downs.
If it gets us yardage, maybe they might run that fake tush push like they did last week.
That was great.
Or they might do the Patrick Mahomes shovel pass like what they did with Goddard. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how the offense works against Denver, who's already seen, what they've done in Tampa. So maybe if they do a fake tush push in Tampa, they might do an actual tush push in Philadelphia.
Well, they only run the tush push if they need to. Like
exactly.
They don't just like sit there and run it when it's like
there and run it when in a spot where they don't need
right.
it.
If it's 2nd and 1, they're not going to run the tush push.
If it's 4th and 1 and they're at like the 30, they're running the tush push. Like, that.
The only times where it's tush push time is 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1. Other than that, it's not tush push time. You're not going to see a 2nd and 5 tush push. You're not going to see a 2nd and 2 tush push. No,
yeah, they don't run those tush pushes like that. Maybe when it's like 2nd and goal at the 1, maybe.
Yeah.
But
in situation like that, yeah, of course.
But you're not running it at your own 45 when it's 2nd and 2. You're gonna just hand it off to Saquon.
Exactly.
Hopefully he gets his 2 yards because Saquon hasn't been the same. Hasn't been well.
The offensive line hasn't really been
helping him, and now everyone's saying, "Oh, he's got the Madden curse."
Well, I mean, the thing is that the offensive line hasn't really been exactly healthy, number
I was
one.
gonna say healthy. Like
Like,
you got Matt Pryor coming in who's freaking shit in the bed, and then you got
yeah, I was going to say you got Dickerson, who is coming off of the surgery.
freaking Dickerson who walks around in like a cast every single day.
You got
like a mummy.
You got Lane Johnson, who was taken out of both of the last 2 games and I don't think returned. Cam Jurgens,
Yeah,
he's had the neck issue.
You know, Tyler Steen got taken out with the one game.
Yeah, exactly.
You're stuck
Tyler
with
Steen
freaking
got
Matt
taken
Pryor
out.
and Fred Johnson. It's like, Jesus, dude. Freaking stuck with these jobbers.
But like, it seems like the only one on the line that's been completely healthy the entire time so far has been Mailata. Other than that, everyone else has been nicked or banged or bruised at some point.
Because he says in the intro for NBC Jeff Stoutland University. So
Yeah,
there you go. That's why.
But with Mailata, he's also kind of just like one of those freaks of nature. Like he's 6 foot.
Yeah,
nine,
Mailata's insane.
Like freaking 320 pounds, and like 75% of that is all muscle. Like the dude is freaking huge. He's just a behemoth and like a freak of nature. So you kind of understand why he's the only one that hasn't really gotten banged up.
Props to him though for being freaking that size, man.
Yeah,
like literally,
he's a man of steel, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as if you see this offensive line get healthier over the next couple of weeks, I feel like you'll start to see them open up holes, and you'll start to see more explosive Saquon Barkley runs. One of the biggest things last year that was really, really key to his success was the fact that I think his average yards before first contact last season was 3 yards. If you're able to get Saquon Barkley 3 yards before he's even touched, he's able to fully build up that head of steam while running downhill. It's a lot harder to tackle him than when he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, has to continuously juke, spin, make plays just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
The offensive line isn't helping him one bit.
Exactly. So people seem to be getting right through on run plays and hitting him before he even gets to the line of scrimmage, which is why he's not having the profound season that he had last year. It's not necessarily his fault. For everyone that's sitting there and wants to blame Saquon Barkley.
People are going to criticize the player over anything. They're going to criticize Hurts and Brown and Saquon. It's like, well, you don't watch the games. What do you see? AJ Brown got 2 extra points.
Yeah,
well,
a lot of.
Did you watch the game? No, you were probably watching the other team you supported. Like, did you not see that he was getting freaking covered like a mummy the whole game? Like,
I mean, when you're actually able to sit there and analyze the game by watching it, it's completely different than when just looking at it through the box score.
Yeah, exactly. It's completely different when looking through it through fantasy.
Right, exactly.
Or if you're watching Red Zone. Red Zone's not going to show, AJ Brown just got covered, 4 times, and they're not going to show that. They're only going to show that when the Eagles, make a dynamic play or get into the red zone.
Or the fact that it hasn't happened, so they'll just bring it up to talk about it on the broadcast to make a talking point.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So,
but other than that,
I do want to cover defense against the Buccaneers.
Yeah, because the defense was not very good.
It was iffy.
It was.
They got. It
was the same as the offense, dude.
Yeah, same
One
as the
half
offense.
they were great. Mm-hmm. The other half they were putrid.
And they stepped up when they needed it. Jahad Campbell getting his first career pick from Baker, which was nice.
Yeah.
Keely Ringo forcing the fumble on Bucky Irving, which Jalix Hunt picked up.
Which the fact that it was Keely Ringo, that is huge for Keely Ringo going forward.
Because you see Jackson not doing that shit.
Yeah, so that right there, if Keely is able to, because I don't know if I haven't heard anything, whether or not Jackson's going to be playing this week.
Yeah, no, me neither.
So I haven't heard any update. I haven't seen any update on whether or not he's going to play. He might play, he might not. But if he's not playing, Keely Ringo gets another chance and he forces another turnover next week, Dory Jackson might not have a starting job to come back to, potentially.
Exactly, especially if Ringo has a good game against whoever he's going to be on, maybe Marvin Mims or...
And especially with how the Eagles as a team philosophy value the turnover. if Keely Ringo got 2 starts and has gotten you 2 turnovers in 2 starts, and Joey Jackson has gotten 0 in 3.
You could definitely expect, like, there's going to be a change coming to that second cornerback position.
Yeah, you're going to see Keely Ringo a lot more going forward just because of how much value this team places on winning the turnover battle every single week. It's a huge talking point for Sirianni, for Patullo, for everyone in that team. Yep. They all talk about turnover margin.
And then they got Moro Jomo. Good sack of Baker there, stopping him.
Yeah.
Thing that made it 3rd and 23, and then after that they couldn't convert, and then that was the game basically. So
Moro Jomo seems like he's been the guy on the defensive line to step up the most.
Yeah, the defensive line, honestly...
Hasn't been great.
But, when you got Davis, who had a good game, and then Carter, and then Moro Jomo stepping up, like...
But you did see, I believe, Zadarius Smith go down last week.
You saw Smith go down.
Did he come back in for the game? I can't remember if he came back in.
I know Carter came back in, but...
Yeah, Carter came back in, but it's not great with this defensive line so far as, they're not really stopping the run. Kyron Williams ran all over him. Bucky Irving and Rashad White kind of ran all over him.
Bucky Irving caught a touchdown from like 72 yards. Kind of got wide open there, and same with Ibuka, who I did actually predict to do good. So all my fantasy predictions were hits.
That's one thing that is probably going to be really key going into this Broncos game is, can you get pressure on Bo Nix? If you can get pressure on Bo Nix, you have a very solid chance of winning this game. If you don't get pressure and you allow him to scramble around in the pocket, scramble for yards, get first downs, all that other stuff. It's
not like Bo Nix isn't capable of doing that. He is.
Right. He's capable of, running the ball for a first down just the same way that Jalen Hurts is. Just you don't think of him that way. You don't think of Bo Nix as this running quarterback, but he's very effective when he gets on bootlegs, he scrambles, runs around, extends the play. And if he's able to do that, especially against the secondary that the Eagles have shown that they have, which hasn't really looked great so far. They've had moments where they have had some very good, drops. They've had some very good defensive possessions, some defensive stops. But collectively, as a whole defense, it doesn't really look like they're clicking on all cylinders, I would say. So
it's going to be...
You're going to have to get to the quarterback.
What it's going to be like. Yeah, you're going to have to.
And if you don't get to the quarterback, he's probably going to make you pay.
Things are going to happen. Yeah, you're going to be giving up scores. So, just like what you said, to get to the quarterback, and they got this. The offense got to wake up too. So,
yeah.
They usually don't start clicking on all cylinders till like week 6. I feel like week 5, week 6. I'm hoping this is like the week when they actually start clicking and stuff.
It would be nice if you could see just 2 halves of solid football instead of one half of very good and then another half of very bad.
even if they lose in like a shootout, like you see
at 4-0, you're willing to take 1 loss.
Exactly. You see 2 halves of good football.
Yeah.
Like I will be okay with that. But I do have the Eagles winning 31-21.
I have the Eagles winning as well. What did I put? 27-21.
27-21 and then 31-21.
And then one thing I want to mention real quick before we get to the fantasy start and sits. 50-yard field goals have been absolutely insane this year. I don't know what the hell,
man. Chase McLaughlin with a 65-yard field goal.
So, here, I just want to throw out this little stat. So, there have been a total of 56 50-yard field goals made so far this season through 4 weeks, right? 56 for 76. So they're converting 50-plus yard field goals at a 77% clip.
Almost 80% right there, field goals.
10 years ago, by contrast, 2015, there was only a total of 98 50-yard attempts all season.
Oh, my goodness.
98. We're already at 76 through 4 weeks.
Jesus.
So for the entire season, all 16 weeks or 17 weeks, 10 years ago.
10 years, and you can't even get a field goal.
There was 98, all right? How many of those 98 do you think were actually converted?
Probably like 35.
One off, 36.
Oh, my goodness, 36.
For 36% compared to 77%.
Insane. I don't know if the kickers are like, I don't know if... the kicker technology has, expanded, or maybe if, like, people don't want to kick in the wind or whatever, but...
Well, Vic Fangio said something about it in his press conference this week. Apparently, they're putting something. There's something going on with the kicking ball this year, where I guess you're able to inflate it or deflate it to your liking.
That's weird. What kind of Deflategate type stuff is this?
But it's legal, and I guess it's legal for all of the teams to do it.
I've never seen this before.
Because he brought it up this week in his press conference. He was saying, the amount of 50-yard field goals that, people have made, I don't know what they're doing with these balls. They did some type of rule change with the ball, and it is, completely changing the kicking game. And I looked it up. Apparently, there's now this rule in place where, you know how with Deflategate, the whole thing was, the equipment manager had the sack of balls in, the locker room, and it was very suspicious that he was the last person to come in contact with them, and then they were deflated and all this other stuff. Well, now apparently you can bring your own balls that you're going to kick with to the game, whereas to before it had to be approved by the NFL.
I feel like they should approve the NFL. They should approve the kicking balls again. I mean, that's kind of like an unfair matchup. I feel like, what if a kicker is using a regular ball versus the opposing kicker using a more deflated ball?
Right, or a more inflated ball.
Exactly.
So I think that's the reason why you're seeing so many successful 50-yard plus kicks, because whatever rule change they made has significantly changed the way that kickers kick field goals now, because they're just drilling everything.
Yeah, they're drilling everything, which is weird. So
yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick before we got to it.
I mean, Jake Elliott, obviously, that doesn't bother him. He's still, the goat of kicking, but
but maybe that's why he's had such a successful.
Yeah, who knows? We don't know if Jake Elliott's balls have been deflated, so.
But here, let's get to your start and sits first, and then I'll do mine.
I do want to say Quentin Grimes did accept the qualifying offer.
Yeah, finally.
Stupid ass wanted $30 million a year. He's not getting shit.
Dude, no team even had $30 million left to give him.
No one is paying him $30 million. Maybe if he has a good season this year, he gets his money, but
I still don't think so.
The Sixers are going to get 35 wins. So, yeah, we can do my we can go to starts and sits and then call it wraps. So, starting off with a quarterback, Justin Fields versus the Cowboys. So this is a fun fact. Well, Fields had a good game against the Dolphins, and the Cowboys are actually number one in most fantasy points allowed to opposing quarterbacks. So
defense is
put
bad.
Justin Fields with that defense, and he's a runner too, like Hurts, so he could run all over the place. So I would start Fields.
I like that.
Good game. Good receivers, too, and he'll have Breece Hall as well. So
don't like that because the guy I'm going up against in fantasy has Justin Fields.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so sucks for me.
Next guy I got is Amari DiMercato.
Okay.
James Conner's out for the year. Trey Benson's on IR. So what the hell are you going to do? You're going to start your third stringer. He is projected for about 12 points. I don't know how much they're actually going to use him, but in between Michael Carter, I do think obviously Marvin Harrison's going to get more targets now.
Well, they did use him a decent amount last year, I feel like, DiMercato, when they had James Conner go out with injury. So
there's definitely a shot. And then another running back who just got injured, Bucky Irving. So Rashad White is his replacement, and that's going to be my final start. So Bucky Irving finally got ruled out.
Yeah.
So my starting running backs are Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb.
Not a very
good running back
for this week going forward.
Oh man, it's gonna be such a rough week for me, dude. Gonna be 1-4.
All right, and so were those your starts?
Yeah, those are my starts. So you go ahead and list yours.
All right, so I tried to do 3 per position, or at least 3 for running back and wide receiver. So starting this week, unfortunately, J.K. Dobbins. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Eagles' run defense has not looked great. J.K. Dobbins has had a very successful start to the season. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt in this game. That's always a possibility with J.K. Dobbins. But if he stays healthy throughout the game, he's probably going to produce a decent amount of points for you. Also at running back, I got Chuba Hubbard. If he does play, he's listed right now as questionable.
I heard they said most likely not going to play, so Chuba Hubbard probably not going to play.
Well, nix that name. Other name I'm going to go with is David Montgomery. Now, he had a very bad week last week.
Well, Monty's still good as a good fullback, obviously. Gets you in the end zone.
But I expect a much better week this week, going up against a very weak Cincinnati run defense.
Yeah, the Cincinnati defense is just bad in general.
This is probably going to be one of those games where Detroit is able to score 40 to 50 points. If that's the case, it's not going to just be Jahmyr Gibbs doing all the running. You're going to see David Montgomery get a lot of opportunities, probably around 12 to 15, I feel like, in this game. And he's probably going to get you a touchdown because this Cincinnati run defense is putrid.
You couldn't say more, so.
So that's my running backs. And then I got Trey Tucker, who's been on fire for
he had another good game.
The Raiders.
So
Chris Olave.
Olave, all right. Well, kind of worried about that quarterback situation with Rattler, but...
Yeah, but he's been putting up solid numbers so far all week, and especially matchup-wise, going up against, I believe, the New York Giants this week, who, even though they have a decent pass rush, they have a good pass rush and can get to the quarterback, they're very exposed on the back end, and they've given up the second most points to fantasy wide receivers so far this season. So definitely Chris Olave as a start. And last is Khalil Shakir. He's gotten 2 touchdowns 2 weeks in a row, and he's going up against a pretty bad passing defense. So
New England
as well.
Patriots. So all right.
And then tight end, we got Sam Laporta and Dalton Kincaid. Once again, Sam Laporta, we talked about it. I think this is one of those games where Detroit could end up scoring 40 to 50 points. Usually when the offense is humming like that, everyone's
humming.
Yeah, everyone on that team gets points.
Same with Kincaid and the Patriots.
Yeah, same with Kincaid and the Patriots. And for my quarterback, probably people won't like this around here, Dak Prescott, just because he's going up against a very bad passing secondary, against a very bad defense in general. And he has had some very solid passing numbers so far. He usually always has very solid passing numbers.
Dak always has that type of mojo with passing.
So even without CeeDee Lamb, still start Dak Prescott this week over a very weak defense.
Pickens looked good with Prescott against the Packers. So,
and then for my sits, I've got Chase Brown. Because
I put Chase Brown too.
Chase Brown, this Bengals offense is just kind of awful without Joe Burrow.
He dead last in yards per carry at a whopping 2.3.
Yeah, because, it doesn't help when your offensive line is just absolutely awful out there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, your lineup is like baby food dookie chips,
So, definitely sit Chase Brown. Saquon Barkley is the other one I'm sitting this week.
See, I feel like you can't sit Saquon just because, he's a main factor. Saquon, he could be a hit or miss type of guy. I know Saquon hasn't had, the greatest stuff all year, but he could get you. He could get you a touchdown. Maybe even if it's just a flip into the end zone or a 1-yard run. That's still 6-7 fantasy points right there into the bag. So
yeah, I agree. I just think that there's other options that you could start probably over Saquon Barkley this week, going up against a very tough Denver defense.
Yeah, if you have the options. Like, if you see Saquon Barkley and you have Kareem Hunt on your bench, you're going to start Saquon.
Well, obviously, yeah. But, that's just something to look forward to. Probably a down. I would expect a more down game from Saquon Barkley.
I'm hoping not a down game from Saquon, but who knows?
And then at wide receiver, Deebo Samuel coming in banged up. Washington hasn't looked great, even though they are getting Jaden Daniels back. He didn't look good with Jaden Daniels week 1.
I'm hoping with because Terry McLaurin has not gotten a touchdown all year, so I'm hoping they throw to Deebo a little bit more. I actually have to start Deebo because it's either Deebo or T. So, hey, I'm not starting T anymore.
Well, yeah, I don't blame you for not starting T. Higgins, especially with how awful that Bengals offense looks
100%. And then
without Burrow.
I see you put Jamar Chase on here, and I was like, well, that's the same thing with Saquon. It's like hit or miss, but Jamar and the Bengals offense have played terrible all season.
Yeah.
So,
well, Jamar only got 4 points last week.
Exactly.
Dude.
Jamar could explode, or he could have a shitter.
Like, you could get better production from some guy you pick up off of waivers than that.
Exactly.
That's awful. 4 points. So those are the 2 wide receivers I had. And then Hunter Henry going up against a very tough Buffalo defense. I think that Patriots are probably going to get blown out in this game.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be another one of those games where Buffalo's probably going to end up winning 38-10, 38-3, something like that.
And then you got one more tight end.
And then I got Zach Ertz, because going up this week, he does get Jaden Daniels back. Jaden Daniels does love throwing to Zach Ertz, but he's also coming in banged up. He's listed as questionable for the game. And if he's not going to be at 100%, and Jaden Daniels isn't going to be at 100%, plus they don't have,
Terry McLaurin doing anything.
Or Austin Eckler, so you're relying on Krosky Merritt.
Yeah, they're relying on Bill.
So I'm not expecting a good week for the Washington offense as a whole this week. That's why I kind of have some Washington players in here as sits for this week. But watch me be completely wrong. Completely wrong, dude. And they explode for points, and then everyone hates me next week. And then my last is Lamar Jackson, just because he's probably not going to play. If he does play, he's not going to be himself.
Practiced in 3 straight days. Listed as doubtful, so he's not playing.
Yeah.
And he always stinks against the Chiefs for some reason. For some reason, he always stinks against the Chiefs. I don't know why. But I'll do mine now. And my last 2, because obviously you said Chase Brown. I got Brian Thomas Jr., who's playing the Chiefs. He's yet to catch
tough defense.
Yet to catch a touchdown. Has not gotten over 10 points this entire season.
Plus, it seems like Trevor Lawrence really, really likes Brenton Strange.
Yeah, and speaking of Trevor Lawrence, he's my next player.
Ah, okay. That was a nice segue into it.
Yeah, of course. The Chiefs' defense, they were good at stopping good quarterbacks. Lamar for that short amount of time he played.
Awful.
Hurts really didn't look good.
No.
They relied a lot on the tush push, obviously. Russell Wilson,
he did have a pretty solid game the week before, but he got absolutely destroyed against the Chiefs.
He got destroyed against the Chiefs, which caused him to start Jackson Dart. So his only good game was against the Bengals.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't trust Trevor Lawrence to start against the Chiefs. I'd honestly pick up Jackson Dart.
Honestly, that's probably a pretty good idea.
Don't pick up Geno. He's got more interceptions than touchdowns.
Geno Smith is cooked, I think.
And same with Tua, obviously. So, but yeah, those were our fantasy guys starting sit. So,
also, keep an eye out for Darren Waller.
I did see his thing go up trending on Sleeper.
I picked him up in our league. I picked up Darren Waller because my starting tight end was Harold Fannin Jr. So,
Goodness.
I needed a little bit better option at tight end.
Choked on some water. I did the same with Romeo Dobbs. That's big ass helmet on. They're gonna be without Christian Watson and
Wicks as well, right? Isn't Wicks listed as
Wicks
doubtful?
and Jaden Reed for a while too. So.
Yeah, so also Matthew Golden. Anyone that's got Matthew Golden, probably a good opportunity for him to step up. So
pretty good opportunity, but
look to start him the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that was a good. Hopefully we get a good Red October. After I just choked on some water, but I'm all right now.
Dude, I can't freaking wait for Red October. You all right, bro?
Man. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm fine. But next episode we'll have 2 games to cover since the Eagles play on Thursday night after the Broncos. They play the Giants. They should win easily, but
that's the game that I expect the Saquon breakout right there. The Giants game.
I hope so. Yeah, it's gonna be Saquon back at MetLife. So obviously the Giants are gonna play him tough. It's Saquon going back to his hometown, and hopefully the Phillies-Dodgers series is over by that point, and hopefully there's no Game 5. Hopefully the Phillies are going to the NLCS. We'll break everything down for you, and we'll see you next week, y'all.
Hell yeah.